Hey, Stevo, and it's one of my last videos till November the 2nd, and I was thinking, that I'm a black man born in America, and there have been many times in the past that I had to deal with the police. I had to deal with white people calling me nigger. I had to deal with black people calling me half breed. And I can't imagine that probably history might repeat itself if we have another 4 years of Donald Trump, who tells extreme right wing group, the Proud Boys, to stand by and stand back. Can you imagine militia groups being legitimatized by a president? And Woodrow Wilson watched the movie D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation in the White House. I think during World War II. A president after Woodrow Wilson, Warren G. Harding, had a Klan ceremony in the White House. So we've had presidents in modern times that were racist, and our forefathers, in their way, were racist too. They had slaves. Some of them did. Some of our forefathers did. I agree. Some of our forefathers freed their slaves before they died. But as far as modern times, our forefathers weren't perfect, and they had racial hatred or racial prejudices. But that, in majority of our forefathers, that did not get in the way of governing America. Our forefathers are a product of their generation, and like I said yesterday, Trump is a divider. He doesn't bring people together. And can you imagine another 4 years of Trump and the legitimized of the Proud Boys and these groups bullying, Black Lives Matter or any group, any group that they don't like. I mean, you could dislike Black Lives Matter, that's your business, but it is a group that started when African American men were being killed and brutalized by the police. Let's be honest. The Black Panther Party in the 60s and Black Lives Matter in the 2000s started because of police brutality. Because the American government was doing nothing, was doing too little and too late to do anything about brutalizing human beings. And I saw a sign while I was walking up the street early yesterday morning, and it says, BLM matters, and then it says written down in scroll, and someone's hand saying Native lives matter too. And I agree. Native American lives do matter. Native people have been through a lot. And I cannot stress that, how much Native American people went through. And the Native American people in the neighborhood that I live in, most definitely, Native lives matter, 100%. And just imagine if Native American people, and they did have political groups in the 70s, the American Indian movement and white people Marlon Brando, the actor, was heavily put money into it and his time into the American Indian movement. And it was influenced by the civil rights movement of the 1960s with the Black Panthers and with Martin Luther King and so on, the American Indian movement. So each thing is influenced by another. And I agree, Native lives matter. You can't get no argument from me. Native lives do matter. And I wish the Native American people the best, and if they could put together a kind of the same thing as Black Lives Matter do, I wish the Native American people the best. Most definitely. Most definitely. You can't get an argument from me about Native Lives Matter. And I think each political group influences the other, and when white people say, well, conservative white people say, well, all lives matter, they don't get what African Americans and people of color go through on a daily basis. Being harassed by the police, being killed by the police, dealing with poverty, roaches and rats and rodents, dealing with working jobs for long hours and less money, and living in poor neighborhoods, and living in, we can go on and on. Just the extreme poverty that people of color go through and still go through. And people like Donald Trump will give money to the rich and put money in their own pocket while the poor get poor. So it is important to care. When you vote, you care. And I know that Biden isn't great, but Donald Trump is worse. But you got to, when you vote on Tuesday, you got to say to yourself, did Donald Trump make America great? Did Donald Trump make America great? Did Donald Trump fulfill what he said he was going to do? And I think a lot of it was BS, building a border between North America and Mexico. Mexico, the border is 2,000 miles long. 2,000 miles long. It would cost billions of dollars to build a effective wall. And it's your money. Now, with all that money, we could talk to the Mexican government. We could deal with Mexican people as human beings the way we deal with Canadian people as human beings. And one of the first things that Donald Trump put into office, but it was slammed down by the Supreme Court, was to put together a ban of Muslims coming to America, which is disgusting. Even Ronald Reagan said people have a right to come to America. Even Ronald Reagan said that. Reagan! And the whole irony is that he gave, before he left office in 1989, is he gave amnesty to many thousands of Mexicans. Ronald Reagan! If you read any history books about Ronald Reagan, then you know why I say Ronald Reagan. Then you know why I'm saying, always talk about Ronald Reagan. If you read. I think Ronald Reagan brought the beginning of Trump. We would never had a G.W. Bush without a Ronald Reagan. We would have never had a Donald Trump without Ronald Reagan. We would have never had a Tea Party movement. We would never have moved corporations to other countries. We would have never tried to destroy the New Deal movements of the 30s. We never would have, tried to destroy the middle class and so on without Ronald Reagan. Or marrying Wall Street with government, with American government, without a Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was the beginning. And I hope that Donald Trump is the end of extreme conservatism in America. And we should not put up with the Proud Boys. We should not legitimize the Proud Boys. I should be able to walk down the street and never be intimidated by a militia group, which is pretty much close to the Nazis of Germany. If only Trump would have told the people that he's totally against hate groups and militia people. I think people of color and the good, decent people in America would have voted for Trump. But Trump has no genuine qualities. He wants so bad to win that he doesn't realize that the people who are going to vote for him are 35%. And he needs more groups of people to vote for him. He doesn't realize why can't he talk to black people the same way he talks to these Trump turds? Why can't he talk to women the same way he talks to these Trump turds? Why can't he talk to the LGBT community the same way he talks to these Trump turds? Or elderly people, or whatever. He has nothing. But the sad thing, if we let him, he's going to cheat. In another 4 years of Donald Trump is going to be hate groups. It's going to be an increase of COVID. People have already said that close to 1 million people are going to die of COVID by the early part of 2021. There are going to be more dead people dying of COVID. More dead people. Because Donald Trump gave up when it comes to COVID. He said many times in his rallies, why do they keep talking about coronavirus? Because it is a problem. People are dying of coronavirus. People aren't wearing a mask. People aren't practicing social distancing. Because it exists. This virus exists. And metaphorically, Donald Trump is a virus. So as a black man, to have to walk down the street to deal with the police and think about it, I have to deal with these right-wing groups. If Trump gets another 4 years, people of color can't live that way. The LGBT community can't live that way. Women can't live that way. So we need to figure out if Trump is going to cheat or not. We need to get rid of Trump. We need to love one another. And we need to vote. And vote even in the future. Thank you.